Fire away.
All right, we're going to call tonight's meeting to order, March 11th, 2024. And our first business is pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have our agenda for this evening. Do I hear a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Addie. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Arnie. And any discussion or additions? Hearing none, let's vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and next is our consent agenda.
I move it approve tonight's consent agenda.
Thank you, David. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Addie. And you've almost done that. She's almost done.
She was
All right, any
I waited.
discussion or additions or questions to the consent agenda? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we have input. And before we get started with our public input, I'm gonna make sure we read what our policy is. Speakers may offer objective criticism of school operations and programs, but the board will not hear personal complaints concerning school personnel nor against any person connected with the school system. The time limit is 3 minutes. The board chair will direct the visitor to the appropriate means for board consideration and disposition of legitimate complaints involving individuals. And that's in our board policies BDDH, and they are on our website. And you're gonna be our timekeeper? Oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
That's what I was testing out.
All right, I love it. All right, and up first, we have Erin Ralston at Sunset School.
Okay, where would you like? Can you just stand?
Podium if you'd like.
Okay, great. Thank you. Does it count when I introduce myself?
I'll count after you.
Okay, great. I'm Erin Ralston. I am the school counselor / social emotional learning specialist at Sunset. And I am here on behalf of our Sunset staff, and as well as I am the union rep for our building.
Wow.
As many of you may know, on March 7th, the superintendent came to a listening session regarding the crisis that has been unfolding at Sunset. Despite our efforts to create a trauma-informed school over the past 5 years, Sunset has not felt safe for a great many of our students and staff this school year. The reason for this is complex, but the main issue has to do with the housing of the SLC program, Student Learning Center, which serves students with IEPs with severe Tier 3 behaviors solely at Sunset, coupled with the unrealistic mandate of the inclusion model with lack of additional personnel to support these changes. We realize Sunset is not alone. On a national scale, school districts are reporting an overall increase in disrupted learning post-COVID. Unfortunately, in our rural Coos County, we have limited resources to support the mental and behavioral needs of our youth and families. Resources within our school community are declining. For example, Kairos closed their day treatment program for students ages 5 through 11. Recently, in the last couple of years, the Bologna Ranch closed, and they moved Sunset's Middle Learning Center to Marshville Junior High School. Additionally, this year, we lost our school-based therapist. She has retired, and we do not have a replacement. In the 2021-22 school year, the SLC behavior program was moved from Millicoma to Sunset. Some students are spending over an hour on the bus both ways, which only adds to their dysregulation. When determining special education placement, IDEA requires that each student's placement be as close as possible to their school of origin. Earlier this school year, Sunset staff were informed that the district was unable to afford the cost to hire staff to support an SLC program at both Sunset and Millicoma. Exacerbating this issue is the attempt to immerse these students into a mainstream classroom for most of their day under the inclusion model that was fully implemented this year. This is causing students to become distressed, therefore leading to more violent outbursts such as throwing chairs, desks, tables, and other objects, barricading, tearing down bulletin boards, destroying school property, and cursing of students and staff. As you can imagine, this is causing a lot of secondary trauma to our entire school population. There is a handout coming around, and in it you will see some data that we have gathered. And it shows that in the horizontal district meetings, we have seen a disparity between Lillicoma and Sunset. We have some DIBEL scores to show that disparity. And it should
5
also,
seconds, sorry.
it should also be known that we have over a third of students at Sunset on IEPs.
Okay, I guess I don't need to give a warning, that's pretty loud. I'm sorry to have to cut you off, just want to be fair to everybody, but thank you so much for your presentation, and we will review this data. Thank you for advocating for the school students and staff. All right, we have next up on our list, Jen Marie. Oh, okay. Hey, Jen,
Hi, can you see me?
we cannot see you, but we will in a minute.
Hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, now we see.
All right. Hi, my name is Jen Marie Frangopoulos. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Sunset. I appreciate the board taking this time to hear me. Sunset School personnel hosted that session with over 40 people in attendance. I'll share some ideas, thoughts, and actions I heard. First, I will start with the possible solutions for today because the Sunset School is in high need of help now. Prior to the working session to help solve these problems, Superintendent Gardner said, hey, do one fun thing tomorrow. I invited him to my classroom anytime because like many educators at Sunset, I strive to do that every day as I implement a rigorous curricula. However, I am exasperated by the current climate in our school. We need solutions now. My 4 ideas that I've collected amongst other teachers and staff and from the meeting are to form a team to actualize a behavior matrix and help educate students and staff on how it works. Second, add an MLC, a multi-learning center, now to help meet the needs of our diverse learners that do not necessarily have an IEP or a 504, but also need accommodations where the least restrictive environment is a small group. Number 3, hire 3 to 5 adults for students who need continued adult support for our students in crisis. Or for now, maybe double the amount of SLC staff and the Seeley program assistants. Split the SLC into 2 sections for the caseload is so high, so that our classes will not continuously be disrupted by these students in crisis. We need to have their needs met so that we are all safe. Hire a person to run an ISS and school suspension kind of model that maybe could be used to foster an alternative school program. We want children in school. We love all of our students. One thing I heard is the need to review behavior plans as often as we review data for our reading or math programs, and I agree. However, I know our specialists are often called on to either substitute or aid in a student crisis. This has continuously disrupted the SLC, Seeley, and the tiered structures of learning programs. It further exacerbates the amount of meetings we have and time we have. Sunset also seems to be inundated with an overwhelming amount of students in crisis from surrounding schools and districts, hence the need to have an SLC on each campus in the district eventually. And I hear there's some talk of that, or we at least hope. Yet it is very much needed. For example, it is almost a daily occurrence around the building that educational programs are disrupted from yelling, cursing, and kicking of the doors outside of our rooms, to students using volatile language in the classroom, throwing desks and chairs, and students just leaving the classroom, eloping in the halls. This problem is further exacerbated by students now mimicking that behavior as they don't understand the consequences of the students in crisis. In a meeting today, I was told that there are no current resources for the 2 students I have that exhibit extreme behavior and do not have a 504 or an IEP. I am not the only one in need of these small groups that would benefit these children, as it is the least restrictive environment.
Sorry to interrupt, Jen.
All
Your
right.
time is, So sorry.
That was about it. So thank you very much. I'll send you a copy of my notes. And I just wanted to thank you and invite you all to our classroom and our school. We do have lots of great things happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean Marie. And yes, absolutely, send us a copy of your notes. I'm trying to jot down the ideas, but there's a background echo, so I couldn't hear them all clearly. So we look forward to getting your notes. Thank you so much.
I
Right,
get that
up
as
next-
well. Sorry about that.
No worries, it happens. Up next, we have Jenny Holt from Sunset as well.
Hi, I'm Jenny Holt. My daughter Elena and my son Hunter go to Sunset. I also am part of the Booster Club. So I am like aware of what's going on in the school most of the time. My daughter comes home from school a lot stating, hey, you know, so-and-so is getting into fights, you know, behind her. People are screaming, people are yelling, whatever, like, my daughter is on an IEP, and it's because she goes through some processing delays from being ill when she was younger. And Sunset has an amazing thing where they grasp the students, and my daughter has made such huge strides in bettering herself. But to hear she can't concentrate in science, she has no reprieve. She literally gets on the bus even, and she's so just overwhelmed after school that I had to buy her earplugs to put in the bus. And it's been suffering, like overall. All the kids, the 6th grade girls are just mean to each other. They are constantly in arguing. They need to have some type of, you know, come togetherness and love for each other. You know, there's nothing. There is absolutely, I don't understand it at all. Like, I understand that teachers are doing the best that they can, and even the Booster Club is trying to offer, you know, things saying, hey, come to the school, let's do fun things as a family, let's have positive stuff that's happening. But really what's happening is that's not the true case for school. You know, my son came home telling me the other day that some kid punched some kid in the back of the head. Well, my son has had 4 concussions. We actually just came back from OHSU listening to his doctor. So what are you guys gonna do to protect my son to make sure that he doesn't get another concussion or another person? You know, these are all very, very important things, the safety of the students, the safety of the staff. I mean, parents need to be held accountable for their children's actions. And that's what it comes down to. So there needs to be a plan here. You know, we have to come together and make this work for everybody, so our kids can have a decent learning. So, thank you for your time.
Wow, you did it. Yeah, you did it in less time than you needed, Jenny. And thank you so much for joining us tonight and advocating for your children as well as all the other children over there at Sunset and your staff. Okay, and last we have Charlotte from Sunset as well. Come on, Charlotte, you can go, girl. You can go with her. Okay, well, you can go with her if you want. Yes.
You can sit right there.
Sit down. You got this, Charlie.
No,
It's all right.
do you know what she was going to say, Mom?
I'll kind of just sum it up a bit, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So she used to absolutely love going to school. She did great in class, academically, she had a friend. The last couple of years have gotten pretty bad, so bad to where, like, she'll do this at night sometimes, because she doesn't want to go to school, she's scared. And, you know, I don't think, well, at her age, I do it now, because I work in Madison, but at her age, I don't blame her. She's got, the last couple of years, there have been students in her class who are throwing chairs and throwing desks, not like pushing it, but, and cussing out the teacher. Oh, you trained me.
You're doing fine.
But, she, she brought it up to her teacher one day about how, why is this allowed to happen? And she's told, well, some of these kids have really traumatic things going on in their life, which is totally understandable. I get that. But her next question was, what about the trauma that it's causing the rest of us? She hates going to school. Her behavior has even changed. Sorry, I'm telling you. I got the first bad behavior call about her this year, and mostly because she's being sassy, but, she's seeing all these kids, and everyone else is seeing all these kids do so many harmful things to not just the other kids, but the staff as well. And it changes all of them. And I mean, none of these kids are gonna get any better if they keep having to be subjected to this every day. And there's a lot of people being inappropriate in this room tonight.
Hey, so you go by Charlie or is it Charlotte? I want to tell you, you did such a great job being here tonight, and we really value what you have to say. And even though it's through Mom, then thank you so much for showing up. And I know this is very scary, but it means a lot to us. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, everybody that came to speak. We take it to heart and we value your input, we really do. So we will move on with our board meeting. We can't talk about it tonight, but thank you so much. So next up is MHS student rep, Mallory. Mallory, how are you?
I'm great, actually. Sorry I was gone the last couple times. I was doing a class through Training Wheels to get my license and everything, driving license. And so that's why I was gone. Well, I mean, I'm not 16 yet, so I technically can't go in there, but I passed the driving and written test. So when I turn 16, I just walk in there and grab it and go. No stress. So I'd like to start with a recap on the winter sports. So our cheer team won second in state, and it is their first banner in the gym in 20 years. So I'd really like to give them a round of applause. They didn't. Now dance goes to state this weekend. They either placed first or second in their categories of traditional or palm, or like, it's like a, anyway, those are their categories in their last competitions, and they're doing amazing. And wrestling had 14 boys qualified for state, and 2 placers, which were Trayton Forbes, who achieved 4th, and Arian Wright, who achieved 5th. Basketball, the girls basketball won league, but unfortunately lost their playoff game, which was really disheartening and was sad, but they had a great season. Boys basketball got 3rd in league and qualified for state, but also lost in the first round to Philomath. For swimming, Allison Wright finished 3rd in state in the event, the 500-yard free, and 4th in the 100-yard fly. And the girls also had 2 relays, and they finished 3rd, which involved Avery Bartholomew and Ella Croson and Lily Thompson, all freshmen, and Allison Wright, who is the junior. The boys relay also finished 3rd with Ellie Ailey and Quentin Closter, who are both juniors, and Hunter Cowan, who is a sophomore, and Carter McGriff, who is a freshman. Overall, the boys placed 11th in state, and the girls placed 9th. Speech and debate regionals are on the 16th at Milner Crest, and they are always looking for judges. So if any of you are interested, you could always apply to be a judge. It's not scary. You just go in there. They'll tell you exactly what to do. You don't have to know anything about it. They always look for judges. And then OBOB, or Battle of the Books, which is you just have to read the books they assign and you ask questions. It's like a competition. So you really have to know what you read. You have to really understand the books and the material. And so they have regionals on the 16th as well. And this is at Marshfield in, I believe, the library. Robotics had their last tournament and achieved 3rd overall. Prior to this tournament, they had been awarded 1st place for their robot design, which was obviously very good. And they've had a very successful time this year. For spring sports, obviously are just starting, which involves track and field, tennis, golf, softball, and baseball. So if you can, get out there and try to cheer on my fellow classmates as we start doing our athletics. Esports starts after spring break, and our equestrian team has their last competition before state in April. And like last year, they've been very successful. They're not talked about much because a lot of us don't have horses, so it's hard to be an equestrian rider and not have a horse. But they are very, very good, and I'm very happy for them. One of our Marshfield students was part of the North Bend's bowling team, and they helped achieve the 3rd place in state this year. Recent school events have been, one, we held a Sadie Hawkins dance through Marshfield Charity Program, which was hosted by Carrie Goodson and Spencer Pedersen, and that raised over $25,000. And the charity banquet is coming up this April, which will be in the lunchroom in Marshfield, which, if you don't know, is like under the auditorium. Is like a basement. It's like, that's where it is. And then there's many clubs that are going to be planning events in April, including Marshfield ASB, SNHS, Key Club, and Z Club. We, of course, had the 3A tournament, which was run by CIRC and Key Club. And then classified appreciation was this last week. So special thanks to everyone who works behind the scenes. So it's like secretaries, custodians, all those types of people, the tech guys, everyone. And special thanks to Mrs. Chandler, because she's awesome. And lastly, we had forecasting in preparation for the next year, which was a whole lot of everything because Student View wasn't working. So we finally got that up and we were able to forecast for our classes next year. That's all I have to report today.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from our board? And as always, you're welcome to stay for our board meeting, but you're also welcome to sneak out right now.
I must go to my mother's choir concert.
Oh, there you go.
Well, good.
Is choir concert tonight? Oh, okay. Okay, that's different. All right. Okay. All right, so we have our CBEA business and next. Oh, there she is.
I'm feeling like I need to take public speaking lessons from Mallory. I also think this is a good month to remind you all that I am not CBEA, but the people that already spoke on behalf of Sunset are also CBEA, and that's where our attention's been this month. And I'm emotional just watching because it's powerful. I'm so proud of the people from Sunset that they've come together to try to problem solve. They're not making complaints; they're just stating facts. They've been very conscientious about making sure that everyone knows that this is not about their principal or any of the administrators. They're not throwing anybody under the bus. They're not naming names. They're just saying we need help. And I'm really proud of our admin for approaching the situation in the way they did by calling a listening session. And we're not, it was just Thursday that they had a listening session. And so we're in a waiting period now, giving the admin a chance to process and hopefully problem solve further and make some change that can affect the people at Sunset, including the students, of course. I wanted to also thank the people that were involved. I got to speak with a couple board members prior to the last safety committee meeting. And the sunset issues trickled over into a safety committee meeting. So as you heard, these are safety issues. I don't think the safety committee was ready to hear from Sunset. They haven't been thinking about the safety concerns in that realm, but they're there now, and I think they're going to be addressed from all angles. And so I'm really appreciative, and I have full confidence in our admin team and our board that things will improve. And I also want to just big shout out to Classified. Last week, we celebrated our classified employees from the district last week. I don't know how other schools do it, but in my building, we do it with a lot of food and a lot of sugar. And I don't feel like we ever do it justice. I mean, the food, we do great, but I don't know how to thank our classified enough, because I know they feel underappreciated sometimes, and I wish I knew how to make sure that they knew how much they're valued and appreciated. So I hope you hear me now. Looking forward to hearing more about the superintendent search. I heard the timeline last meeting I attended, and I know timelines are coming up again to pick your committee and so on, and just looking forward to that process. Thanks.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Becky? All right, thank you, Becky, so much. OSEA business,
I am online. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
The silver lining of COVID is that we have this technology to allow those of us that cannot be in person to join online. And so yay for silver linings. I just wanted to start off the evening by saying thank you to the board and David for delivering goodies to all the schools for Classified Appreciation Week last week. The thing that's really special is that usually our governor declares this week Classified Appreciation Week, but last year it was actually voted and made into law that this is Classified Appreciation Week. And I think it just makes it a little extra special to celebrate our first one this year. There was a lot of great festivities going on in all of our locations during the week. And so thank you to all of those who just kind of made us classified staff feel a little bit extra during the week. I know I normally have a staff spotlight for you guys, in the sake of not talking too much myself this evening. I actually have somebody here to talk to you guys tonight. She's an educational assistant and started out in our Title I program, and she is now one of our behavior support EAs from Madison. And so I would like to introduce Allison Bingham.
I have a little, she wanted me to, Bree asked me to sort of outline what my day looks like in my position, if that's okay. Sure. I had to write down notes. So, like we said, my name's Allison Bingham, and I would like to say I'm a proud alumni of Coos Bay Schools. I graduated from Marshfield High School. I work as an educational assistant at Madison. I started in our Title I program, and now I work on our behavior support team. I was asked to share what my typical day at work looked like, and it took me quite a few times to write it down, because quite honestly, thinking about it outside of work is stressful. And unfortunately, it does affect my emotional and physical health a little bit, but I'm good. I'm here. So my day begins with my favorite part of the day, and we greet every child that comes into the building. I think that is so important. You don't know where these kids are coming from or what kind of an evening or night or morning they had, but you know, we greet them with a smile and we tell them we're glad they're there. I think it's important because it's a great way to create community, relationships, and trust. I want kids to know that I'm a safe person, that we are all safe, and that we're there for them. So I wavered on whether or not to share what my team and all my coworkers go through every day, but it's important, and I think you've heard a lot of it here tonight, because we have the same type of things going on. On most days, one or more of us is hit, punched, scratched, spit on, screamed at, sworn at. We have things thrown at us, furniture, pencils, markers, food, shoes, anything that can be found. I have been assaulted in front of entire classes of children that are traveling in the hall, and that really breaks my heart. That's hard. It's hard for them, it's hard for me. And I've been fortunate enough to not have to seek medical treatment, hopefully not yet, but some of my coworkers have because of assaults. Assault is a really to me, kind of a harsh word to use, especially when you're talking about children, but it is what it is. I am assaulted. And the hardest thing is having to greet those kids the next day. Come in and with a smile. It's a fresh day, right? And I do, absolutely. Start every day with a fresh day, and sometimes at 7:57 or 7:50, yeah, 7, it begins. So our team is a 4-person team. We actually just added another EA, but it also includes, we have a lead teacher, we have our admin, and our secretaries quite often get thrown into it because there's so many things going on, and they're not able to do their jobs, and that's hard for them. We get a lot of calls. We carry walkie-talkies, and an example of what a call might be for me is a student is disrupting class. A student is hitting other kids in class or their teacher. They're throwing furniture. They've eloped. At one point, we had 20 kindergartners eloping from the classroom every day. And as you can imagine, it's really hard for 3 or 4 people to deal with that. So there are days, there's so many of us that I often, and quite all of us, have 2 or 3 kids that we're trying to manage at the same time. It's not all horrible and bad. There are some really good things that happen every day. Today was a great day. I made some great connections with kids, and that's what I really love about it. And I know this is not just a Coos Bay School District issue. We all know that this is a nationwide issue, and it's scary. So despite all of this stuff that I just talked about, I love my job, and I love coming to work every day. I cherish and celebrate all the small things, whether it's, just again, I think right now, but I have opportunities every day. I have 2 first graders that I have a standing lunch date with every day. I spend my lunch with them because they need it, I need it, and I really enjoy it. I provide a shoulder to cry on for kids. They have some really tough stuff going on in their lives, and hopefully I'm helping them to learn some coping skills. I get a lot of hugs, and I get a lot of great artwork. Today I got one. It was me with my bun, my gray hair. It was awesome. It's on my desk. I would like to take a moment to recognize our principal, Carly, because without her, I think most of the classified staff will agree with me. I don't know that many of us would still be working. This job is hard. She is there for us. She jumps in when we need her. She gets beat up. She's doing the best she can, and we appreciate her tremendously because she keeps us going. So I would like to thank you for the opportunity to share my experiences and just tell you all that I'm committed to these kids, this school, and this district, and I really look forward to continuing my contribution to the community. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions or good for you? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
Kim? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I wanted to add one more thing. I know this about Allison. She has attended all of our CPS trainings, tier 1 and tier 2. She has done a lot of title trainings, and any kind of training that our district offers, she jumps on it. She also spends many of her own time at home listening to podcasts or doing research on how to strategize and be better, not just in her job, but for the students and families that we serve. And I just want to bring recognition to those who have positions like Allison, and they love their job and they show up every day, not just for students, but their families, their peers, and everybody in our community. And I think that as we go into negotiations, people need to remember that classified should be able to make a wage that does not qualify us for poverty rates. And that's my last comment.
And later on in our agenda, we do have our proclamation for Classified Appreciation Week, but from all of us as a board, we recognize all the work you do, and we could not operate without you. I mean, it's from the hallway to the kids to the greetings at the doors. I mean, all of it, it means a ton, and I know we go through it every day. So thank you. Okay, so we have Nicole Rutherford and our MUPTE action item. Mute.
So thank you for letting me come here tonight and hopefully answer any questions you guys might have from the first time that we presented. I kind of first want to say, like, this is minor compared to the challenges that are being discussed here tonight. And I really want to say thanks to all of the folks who are working with our kids today. Wow. Just puts this all in perspective a little bit, but I'm already on the agenda, so we'll take the time to chat about what I was going to chat about. So in January, I came and talked with you guys about an opportunity that the city of Peace Bay was looking at to hopefully encourage some housing development. I think we all know our community is really struggling to house the folks that we would like to bring in across the board, teachers, doctors, all sorts. And so when we're trying to think about how we can better do that, this is a program that is available from the state. It's the multi-unit property tax exemption. The city of Peace Bay is looking at this in 4 specific kind of ways to address kind of across the spectrum. So that would hopefully encourage some low-income housing, some workforce housing, and then some market rate housing. And what this is asking is support from at least 51% of the districts that the taxes collected to come on board and support this. What it does is provides developers a 10-year tax abatement. So if they come in and do the work, put the housing in, they can have up to 10 years of no property taxes on the development. The land tax still sits on the books. So from that, what I understand is hopefully that's a good enough summary from January's meeting. From that, I understand there were a couple of questions. And so what's been shared to me, and hopefully I tried to do something really quick to pass it out to you guys. It's really hard to know. The first question was, how much money are we talking about? Gosh, your guess is as good as mine. We just talked about what it costs to improve schools, some of the things. And those dollar ranges are all over the place. So what I gave you was just $1 million investment amount in comparison to one property. I just looked at one property in the Peace Bay district. And so if you look at that, $1 million, what would that cost to the school district? That'd be about $3,800 annually. If we go over the life, you're looking at a loss of $38,000 on $1 million kind of project. So I don't know if that helps you kind of frame what kind of dollars you're looking at there. You are, yes.
Do be careful to say that, because $3,800 comes back to us. Because in equalization, the state will pay us the money we lose. So as a school district, we don't lose anything, but.
Yes, just trying to put some numbers to what this looks like.
I really appreciate that.
And that's happening across the board. So when we acknowledge there's overlapping taxing districts who are less than what it would take to get to that 51%, we're in a very interesting predicament here in that just the city of Peace Bay and the school district can reach that 51%. And if we were to look at not bringing the school district, but all the rest of them, I'm not sure that we get to that 51%. So there is a loss to all of those other districts, but I'd like to also caution that they're not receiving those dollars now. And the object of this is to get this built, which would benefit everyone, and you will eventually get those dollars. The land that everybody would already be receiving taxes on, you still will receive that. So yes, it is asking you to put that aside, but not for this program. You know, we may not see these developments, so, yes.
Is this a permanent program? Like, once we put it into effect, is it gonna be forever now?
No, it's gonna sunset, and I should have looked at that date. I think it's in the 2030s. It will sunset. So we're gonna get barely in there to even get a 10-year period out of this. And then, of course, it's within our purview to take this off the books anyways. I mean, you know, if we see this isn't really working, we could also pull it down. So the first question was kind of about money. And then what other kind of feedback that we have received? Well, honestly, until I even know if you guys have interest, it seems rather silly to go have that conversation. But we will have that with the other entities to just let them know that this is a possibility, that this is out there. Again, though, without your guys' support, this doesn't move forward. And then the second question that was shared with me was whether or not this would restrict the district from going out for a future bond levy, and that is not an issue in here. What it does speak to in the RS, and I think I gave you guys another copy of that, is in relation to that same property should not get another exemption for something else. Like, they can't go to the well for all of the options that are available. They can pick this one kind of thing. So if there's any other questions, I know there's been a little bit of time, maybe somebody else has some other questions.
Nicole, can you talk to me a little bit? So what size, when it says multi-units, what does that exactly mean?
Yeah, so the city council has approved, and the ORS kind of speaks to different ways. Really, in larger metro areas, it's related to transit areas. So get people close to where they can ride transit, kind of. Well, we know in Coos County, that's a kind of contrary to what's acceptable out there.
You got the one bus.
ORS says within a quarter mile, and that is, and I don't know if you remember from the last, like, it's this very distinct little bit of space in the city. So we said, all right, we can stick to that ORS. And because it's very limiting, we would say market rate in that quarter mile from the bus routes. We also, ORS speaks to core areas. It doesn't give a definition for core areas. So we took the advantage and created that definition ourselves. What's our core areas? Well, where would we believe housing would be built? That's in East Side, Inglewood, and Empire. Those are our core areas. And our core areas, they also said market rate. Let's just get something that can, whatever the market would support. We also identified, that concern that ORS talked about in regards to no double dipping. So there are sections of the city that are within our urban renewal district that could give them additional benefits. If in those areas, you would have to do at least a sixplex. I guess I should explain the market, or the quarter mile is a fourplex. So quarter mile is a fourplex. The core areas, it was a fourplex or larger. Within an urban renewal area, sixplex or larger. And then citywide, we said you could do anything multifamily as long as it's low income. So we want to really try and push that out there as an option. Does that catch?
It does. Do we know, I mean, I know we are really struggling with housing, but has Coos Bay looked at exactly how many units that we think we're short?
So we do know that all municipalities throughout the state of Oregon were supposed to do a housing needs analysis, and you have to update that every so many years. It's a kind of planning thing, and we just did one in 2022, and at that point, I think we were a little over 400 units short currently, and then projecting out, it gets worse. So if we look at land, that's the other thing that we kind of were in dispute with the state as far as their assessment, what's buildable in Coos Bay. A lot of our stuff is like this, it changes, it's buildable. So that's gonna be our challenge. We are looking at ways that we might be able to kind of expand in the urban growth areas, which were already identified in the 80s with the county and the city, just to get some more buildable lands.
And do you know, are other cities and municipalities using the same strategy?
Thank you.
This will also be allowing us to be more competitive with other areas to try to bring in.
Yeah, so I do know Florence, who we kind of, like, I don't know if you guys do the same thing with other school districts, but you say, hey, what are you doing over there? Can you share your stuff with me? We did that with Florence. And they have a couple of developments already. They're kind of in the same boat. The last time they had multi-unit has been a couple decades ago, which is kind of where we are at, probably a little bit more for us. And they just had, I think, an 80-unit complex come take advantage of this. I know Corvallis and Salem, Cottage Grove, I mean, there's a number of cities who have put these in. I don't know to the benefit, I'm not sure how many buildings, but I do know Florence saw some folks. We do have a couple of developers who have been sniffing around with this idea. Not 80 units, more in the 4 to 8 unit kind of complex. So there's a possibility we can get some interest of a few right up front.
Any other questions? Okay, so, Arnie?
Do we want to do the motions as we go along?
Yes, we have it right here as an action item, so Arnie,
I would move that we approve the, what's it called? MUPTE with this new space.
thank you, Arnie. We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, David. Okay, any discussion? Any other?
I just want to say, I think
Yes.
that any of these things are important. We did one statewide for retrofitting buildings for tsunamis. And I know that some people have taken effect of that. So if you're an older building and you need to take care of stuff, you can get a tax abatement for a while. So, and the fact that you can't double dip on these things is a positive thing.
Yeah.
So I just think that anything we can do to get housing going again, get it kick-started, is important in our communities.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you know, it's not clear how much this will really incentivize. I mean, it's not clear if really it will sort of get us over a certain threshold or not, but if we don't do anything, I just don't think we're gonna get any development for anything larger than single family houses of people that can really afford the cash up front and everything that goes with it. So
Yeah.
I just think we gotta try to do something, even though we don't know exactly if it's gonna make a difference or not.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that the other groups haven't been brought to the table, because you're basically gonna go to them and say, sorry, Charlie. I mean, some of these places might shut down or not have the funds to cover it. Sorry, yeah, her name's Charlie, I didn't do that. No, so I think that I would have really liked to hear from these other groups, or maybe that they gave you feedback.
Yeah.
Because some of them, I'm sure it sounds like you don't know anything until maybe next week, and it won't be good, so.
Yeah, so, for sure, we want to have a conversation with each of them. Again, they are not gonna lose taxes, they're just not gonna benefit immediately from development. So whatever they're receiving today, they will continue to receive. There is no lost revenue. They're just foregoing for up to 10 years, depending on the project. We have the ability to scale that based on the project, so maybe not everybody gets 10 years, but.
And it will grow if the property value grows. So as it has been going, it doesn't cut anything out and it doesn't stop it from growing. It just doesn't allow them to collect on that.
I mean, it does create problems, let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
Because if you're developing a large property, then the cost, your tax base is flat, but your services cost is gonna increase for those folks that are living within your area. So it is gonna cost money, that is true. But the major areas that are gonna be affected are the city of Coos Bay and Coos Bay School District. So, and we're paying a penalty for not having it, right? So, but I mean, I think you're right, though. There is a potential impact on that, but the largest impact are sitting in this room today. And the rest of the parties here are going to be impacted to some degree, but not as large. Over 50% of the impact is just the two of us.
We don't have an impact, is what it sounds like to me. I mean.
Our impact is offset,
Right.
which is nice.
Right, yeah, so
Right.
that's the thing, like, I think Kevin's talking about, is the other folks don't have. So they would lose money, right?
Right.
But they can't future
Yeah,
out.
so in like 3
so-
years, say the port comes in and puts another 1,000, jobs in, what do we just lose? And what these other groups, so there's potential.
So that, I mean,
Yeah.
I would just add a box around that.
Yeah.
Only if someone applied for this program with the city of Coos Bay.
Oh, they'll
So
apply.
there could be several single-family homes that are built, all of those things don't fit in this.
Right.
It's only multifamily.
Which again, we've not had that kind of development for really decades here. So, I mean, if we don't do anything, we're gonna get what we got, which is really no development for housing. I mean, there's, you know, given how busy contractors are and developers are, they don't need to come here, they don't wanna come here and do that work, right? They've got their plates full. So, again, I'm not sure that this will actually, I hope it gets us some traction, but I don't feel really confident. Just because I know that in my own work, when I'm developing housing, it is crazy. It is a difficult process.
And it's just, I mean, I guess I would say, just kind of in response to that a little bit too, like, it is one tool that we're adding to the tool chest. We've already added so many other things thinking, this will be the thing. You know, we expanded how you can build out on your lot. You used to have a lot line where you couldn't build out to the full. We took that out, like, go ahead and build what you can. You can add accessory dwelling units much easier. You can reduce we've done so many code changing things, like maybe this is the one key, and yet we still don't see the development of that. So modifying, streamlining practices, and just, this maybe isn't, but it's something we haven't tried, so.
Tiny houses?
We have, so that's kind of similar to ADUs, yeah. Cottage clusters, we've, I don't know if anybody's been like in the Cottage Grove area, they have some sections of cottage, that's in our code, allowable, again, still, no takers.
You did the small houses, tiny houses.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, and we have a motion on the floor, we have a second, we have discussion, nobody else? All right, let's take a vote. Kevin?
No.
David?
Aye.
Diane? Aye. I vote aye as well.
Aye.
Carney? Addie?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you so much.
You have a resolution to read.
Oh, for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where's my resolution on there?
It would be,
I guess I should have posted that. Is this resolution number 2024-01?
yes.
Resolution supporting the city of Coos Bay's multi-unit property tax exemption program, or MOOT. Whereas the state of Oregon statutes ORS 307.600 through 307.637 authorize cities to establish and design programs to attract new development of multi-unit housing in eligible areas by means of a local property tax exemption program. And whereas the city of Coos Bay City is proposing an ordinance to establish a multi-unit property tax exemption program in accordance to ORS 307.600 through 307.637. And whereas after adoption by the city council, the city of Coos Bay program will become effective upon receipt of written support from a sufficient number of partner taxing jurisdictions whose combined levying authority exceeds 51%, congratulations, of the total combined tax rate levied on properties subject to the city's MOOT program. And whereas the city has therefore sought the written support of the Board of Directors of the Coos Bay School District for the city's development and implementation of the MUPTE program in the city of Coos Bay. Now, therefore, the Coos Bay School District Board of Directors resolves as follows. 1, the Coos Bay School District is in support of the city's MOOT program and agrees to the policy of providing tax exemptions for multi-unit housing as provided in ORS 307.600 to 307.637. 2, a copy of this resolution will be sent by the Coos Bay School District to the city of Coos Bay. Adopted this day, what is today, 14?
11.
11. Oh my goodness, I'm just jumping ahead. 11th of March of 2023.
2024.
Okay, so do I need a new one? Or
I
do I
think I
just
think I
cross it
fixed it
out?
on the one I printed.
Okay, I'll just sign that one then. Okay, so congratulations. I hope this works, because we need it.
Thank you.
Yes. Now we bring in all the people, and they come, if you're listening, come build some houses for us. All right. Isn't that exciting, Charlie? All those whereases?
Just mic drop that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, after that exciting portion, we have the Future School. Yay, Carly, you're up.
Well, and I'm so excited that the room is full because my most favorite thing in all the land is to talk to adults. Give me 100 kindergartners, I'm good to go, but like a room full of adults gives me so much anxiety. So thank you all for coming today. Very, very much appreciate it. Okay, I gotta open up my notes here. They were open, but my computer closed on me. Okay. I also thought perhaps I could just have used Allison's presentation as the Madison presentation, and when she said she was thinking about like how to best describe her day, I thought the word like unpredictable, like no day. I mean, yeah, it is kind of on repeat, but every day is a little different. So, okay, here we go. I will try to keep this short, sweet, and impactful. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Carly Ainsworth. I am the proud principal of Madison School. And I'm very, very excited to be here tonight to talk to you about some of the amazing things that have been happening at Madison this school year. First, I would just say that it felt really, really great, and I'm sure the staff that's here can attest to this, but it was really awesome to not move into a school. This was the first time in 2 school years that we were not unpacking boxes, and I think everyone was kind of walking around the halls like, what is happening right now? This feels like so amazing. So we had a more relaxed start to the school year, if that's the way you can even describe the beginning of the year. But we were not frantically unpacking things and trying to get ready for children to come to school. We were just able to really think about the planning and preparation that it takes to get a school year started. So that was great. Thank you. You can go to the next slide. The first thing I want to do is just kind of talk you through some of the fun activities and events that we have had at Madison so far this school year. We had our Christmas program, which was amazing. It is so fun to see families pack into the gym and watch their children perform. We have definitely had talks of doing some sort of spring concert and programs so that we are able to have all families participate in a performance. I think that's something that's very, very important for us to consider as a system of education, is really that inclusive aspect. However, this has been a tradition at Madison, and we carried it on this year. And so we had a lot of really happy children and families participate in that. We also participated in Global Play Day, which is a Madison tradition as well. In the morning, classroom teachers were able to have play activities in their classroom, and then in the afternoon, we turned our entire school into a playground, and we had trikes on the playground, fun things happening everywhere, and it was a really great day. The kids absolutely love it, and there is peace and harmony throughout the school for that period of time, which makes me think maybe we should reflect on what's going well during those moments and try to infuse that into our daily lives on all of the other days of school. Most recently, we were invited to join our friends at Sunset for the Clam Bake Jazz Assembly. It is a really amazing experience for kids to hear live music. It is also a good opportunity to really reflect on the fact that not all tiny humans like live music. I spent much of the time walking children back to Madison who were crying, who it was too loud for, but overall, for the majority of those kiddos that were seated in the bleachers, an amazing chance for them to experience some really great live music. All right. Some other fun activities that we have had at Madison this year are gingerbread houses, right before winter break. Every single classroom built gingerbread houses. Buddy reading with Sunset, we just did last week. And then this is a picture in one of our classrooms of a fine dining experience. This classroom had set a goal that they were working towards, and once they reached their goal, they had fine dining. So their teacher set their classroom up like a restaurant, and they drank out of fancy glasses and had delicious food delivered by DoorDash to their classroom. And so those are just some of the really fun things that have been happening that I wanted to share with you. Okay. In terms of instruction, you all know that we were accepted into the Oregon RTII cadre. This work really started a couple of years ago, and when I think about this work, I think about establishing systems, instructional systems in our district. So we have kind of continued that work this year, really thinking about core instruction. One of the things that has been different this year that we most recently did was a core review meeting. We've been doing data cycle meetings and intervention review meetings for the last couple of years, but after the end of the first semester, we did a core review meeting and really looked at what skill is our priority for each grade level and what we were going to do differently to adjust our instructional practices in the classroom. And we'll be checking in on that at our next grade level meetings to see how our kids progressing. We're using our progress monitoring data along with classroom assessments to really make adjustments to instruction in the classroom. But really proud of our staff and our students for all of the hard work that they're putting in each and every day. All right. This leads me to really where I want to focus most of our attention, which is on wellness. It kind of lends itself to some of the conversations that we've heard or the statements that we've heard from the staff of Sunset, and also blends in with our, I forget her name, but the person that just talked before me, Nicole. Okay, about housing. And so really this idea of wellness. And if children are not well, we cannot physically, emotionally, we cannot expect them to come to school and do well. I'm gonna get emotional. That is what we are seeing in our schools every single day. We are seeing children who are not well, they need something different from us. And I think that we have to be able to focus on the controllable factors within our setting. There are a whole lot of things that we can't control outside of our schools, but what can we control within the walls of our schools while our children are on campus each and every day? And so we have a couple of things that are going on at Madison right now that I want to speak about. We received a community schools grant from the Youth Development Division, and the way that I wrote this grant this year was focused on wellness. So we are using that funding to add to our garden, our community garden. This garden space is also something that we open up in the summertime, but we will be investing time and resources into our garden this spring. The kids truly enjoy getting out there and planting and tending to the garden, using some of the food from the garden to cook on the cooking cart. So we're going to be adding to our cooking cart, supporting our garden, also adding some things to our playground. I'm gonna save that though, because that's my next slide for you all. But adding to our community spaces so we can utilize that money for library funding in the summer to be able to open our library for our children and really our community to have access to in the summertime. As well as our gym space is a community space. So thinking about what do we need, we're gonna buy some volleyball standards. We currently don't have any of those. So our community organization, like the Boys and Girls Club, E Cuarto, aren't able to use our gym for practices for volleyball. So we're using all of that money on resources that will benefit our students while they are on campus, but will also benefit our community while they are utilizing our community schools during the hours that school is not in session. All right, next slide, please. All right, our playground. Oh my goodness, our playground is not good enough. During construction, we lost our swings, and those were not replaced, unfortunately, in the bond funds. So we're currently in the process of raising funds for a new playground, but as I'm sure you all know, playgrounds are very, very, very expensive. When I think about wellness, I think about not just the child, but the family and also the community. And so when our families are struggling and they need great outdoor spaces to go and utilize when the weather is amazing, where can they go? Where do they go? What are the barriers to get them there? We have a community school that doesn't have a really great playground, and I'd like to see that change. So our first goal is going to be to have enough money to buy swings and enough swings for children. We know that swinging is something that can help regulate kiddos, and we're currently lacking swings on our playground right now, which is a big loss for our students. So we have about $22,000 right now. Our goal is, about $180,000, so we got a ways to go. And playgrounds aren't gonna get any cheaper, so I feel like, by the time we get to $180,000 in what feels like will be an eternity, the playground will probably be $250,000. But we're working really hard. So what we would really love to do is replace our entire playground, add swings, but with our community schools grant, we are going to be adding some new basketball hoops to our playground and some other equipment that is removable, that we can move in and out of the building, but things for kids to play with. With that said, I will also say that we have challenges at Madison too, and so really teaching our students how to use the things that we have is also really important. But if we don't ever give kids things, how do they know how to use them? How do they know how to treat those things? So our fundraising for our playground project has been so far through our Jogathon and our pottery raffle. Coming up this spring, we'll have a pottery raffle where each classroom will make their own piece of pottery. We'll sell raffle tickets during our conferences. I also want you to know that every single student will get a raffle ticket, whether they buy one or not, so every kiddo has a chance to win the pottery. We will also have our Jogathon, and I want to give a big shout out to Rebecca Rogowski, who has been the driving force behind our Jogathon. She's getting ready to kick that off here in the next week or so, but she's been a huge support of our playground project and just getting us what we need at Madison, so really, really appreciate her. Our Jogathon will be on May 31st, and we will be looking for volunteers, so if any of you, I don't know if you got to come last year, but it was pretty awesome. And then the kiddo who ran the most laps during the Jogathon at each grade level got to pie me in the face at our assembly, and this year I will make sure to let them know they get to do that nice and easy, because I think I got my nose broken last year. It was a real hard slam to the face. But I think the thing I want to stress the most about our playground is really that idea of it being a community space, and wanting to ensure the wellness of our children while they're at school, and also the access to a developmentally appropriate playground for, children K-2, but also all children in the Madison community. Okay.
Carly,
Yes.
are there any plans to add a space in the playground for children whose disability may keep them from going out to play kickball with the rest of the kids, but they'd still like to have an outside activity?
Sure. I would love that. I mean, my dream would be to have an, ADA playground that we would be able to put in. That costs a lot of money. So we are working with the Community Schools Foundation. Rebecca and the Community Schools Foundation are working together to look at some possible grant opportunities as well. And so, yes, that would be the ultimate dream right there. Absolutely. Okay, so problems to solve. The things that are happening at Sunset are happening at Madison. We are seeing children have a really, really hard time at school each and every day. And, we talk about this a lot. It is not a lot of children, but the impact is felt. It is felt from the moment you walk in the doors. And so we have tried all year to, I think, Allison can nod her head when I say okay, we're gonna try something different. Okay, we're gonna do this. And we're trying different things, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. I don't have, I wish I had a magic wand and we could just wave it and we can make things, rainbows and butterflies for all of our little friends, but there's some really important work to be done in terms of really analyzing the educational setting that we're providing for students and looking at what is working, what is not working, why is it not working, what can we do differently, and there's also that piece that's outside of our control in terms of being able to collaborate with families and their willingness to collaborate, right? So some of the supports that we currently have in place that aren't listed up here that I do want to talk about are our nurse liaisons with both Northwood Medical Center and Bay Clinic. So I utilize their support quite often in partnering with parents and talking with parents about different community resources and community supports that might be available to support children in being successful in school. The more we can bring supports into our school, I think the better off we'll be. That's the way we're going to be able to reduce barriers. The mental health needs of our students is very, very great. And there aren't enough providers. However, if you do have the opportunity to get into a provider, transportation is an issue. And yes, there are ways that we can transport kiddos, but there's a lot of hoops to jump through to make that transportation happen. And so I really think us looking at how can we get therapists into our school? Well, first you have to be able to hire therapists. And that's kind of what I see as being the biggest problem to solve from a mental health standpoint right now is you can only hire who applies for the job, right? If nobody applies, okay, what now? So if we can't hire therapists, then what's the next thing that we can do to support our students? I'm forgetting something, sorry. I'm also rambling, I'm not following my notes at all, so. Okay, we have our family advocates, our attendance advocates, family advocates that are also working with families, and then community partnerships. Our SEL supports at Madison look like our SEL classroom, we have SEL interventions, we have scheduled breaks and resets, and then we also have SEL coaching, which looks like our our SEL EAs that are out and about in the moment, really popping into classrooms. They see a kiddo under a table in the hallway. Hey, what's going on? How are you doing? Are you okay? Trying to help support them in those moments before we get to the chair throwing, before we get to the ripping things off the walls, that level of frustration. This year we adopted Character Strong for our SEL curriculum, and I will say that we are we have been dipping our toes in the water of Character Strong, but I think that next year, we'll have a much better plan for implementation school-wide. We didn't receive our training until October, and so we started the program a little bit later, but we have, our QBIS team has been talking a lot about school-wide systems of support and ways that we're going to implement, SEL and Character Strong into our year-long planning for next year. And then this spring, we have some things that we're going to be doing that are a little bit different, to try to really focus on the positive for kiddos. Character Strong's 3 big themes are, be kind, be well, and be strong. And so really thinking about what those mean and diving into that with kiddos this spring, and then how can we as a school community support each other. Our approach is, leading with empathy, which is hard when you might be getting kicked in the shins. And so finding that balance of like, stop that, and also is hard. And then that idea, we have to regulate the kiddo before we can relate and reason with them. Our biggest problems to solve are coping, which was a nice, I first, when I did this, I'll just say it had aggression towards others and elopement as our 2 biggest problems to solve. And then my positive way of framing that was, kids are eloping because they can't cope with what's happening, right? They're having a difficult time navigating whatever challenge has been put in front of them. And maybe that challenge is they didn't eat, they haven't eaten since yesterday, or they slept in their car, or whatever the challenge was. And so taking a step back and really thinking about the why, but then also what do we need to do to support these children in building these specific skills. So our focus is going to be problem-solving strategies and coping. We can do hard things, and sometimes we have to tell ourselves we can do hard things as the adults. But we feel the same pain that Sunset is feeling. It is hard. We are having the same struggles, and so we are definitely all in this together, and we're fighting the good fight, right? So I'm looking forward to continued collaboration with staff and the admin team on putting together ideas in terms of how we can ensure, a safe learning environment for everyone. Okay. I feel like I rambled a lot. I didn't look at my notes at all. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
So, do we have any questions or comments for Carly? We heard tonight from both Sunset and Madison, and before we had the pandemic, the board had already transitioned our goal towards behaviors because they were starting to escalate, before the pandemic. And then we hit this, isolation, and kids were at home, and we're coming back, we're starting to come out of that, obviously, but it seems like they're even, obviously so, I think, worse than they were before we went into this pandemic. And there's, I think good data to support that, but we were starting to collect data about behavioral reports. And then I'm wondering about, from our east side to our Empire, I know we have east side teachers and stuff. So, are we looking east side and Millicoma, are they having escalated behaviors that are as great a concern? Is this school-wide, or is this targeted and Empire?
And the problem is we've taken all of our kids and sent them to that. So all of our. Part of it is not, so they exist everywhere. And I think all schools are having some problem.
Yeah, I'm talking about, I get that for sure.
We've concentrated.
Yeah.
But we concentrate.
It's what?
It's much greater on the west side.
Okay.
Much greater. Like, we double the sunset compared to the
Okay. All right.
That's one piece of data
Yeah, that's good to know. Yes, and I know that we had our kids go to the Middle Learning Center, which was at Sunset. We lived in East Side, and my kids, we had to bus them from East Side over there. And so that was years ago, and I guess that's still happening. I don't know, maybe they stopped it and started it up again. But this is all very good information. Thank you guys for sharing it. And thank you, Harley, for not wanting to talk in the public. You do a great job. So, yeah, I don't want to.
There's a job.
Yeah, I know.
We also, until this year, we have had individual classrooms for kids to be in one place as opposed to putting them into all the classrooms. That's a change. And I don't know if we were ready for that change.
So we weren't doing inclusion before that? 'Cause
Not total inclusion. We are total inclusion now. It wasn't total inclusion before.
Huh.
It's more inclusive than it was.
Yes.
And what I've learned is I think that if we're going to do inclusion, we need very flexible step-up plans that can slide back and forth based on success, right? I mean, it's, if a kid's not being successful in a step-up plan, we really need to back off of it until we get them enough support. And we also need the staffing to do that. And right now, I think that at least the east side, or excuse me, the west side is severely understaffed in being able to provide the supports necessary for those kids to be successful in those inclusion rates. So we may have to back off some of that in the shorter term and design something for success and what we've done. So we're asking an awful lot of both the kids and the adults right now.
Absolutely. And one more comment, and then we're gonna get on to you.
Yeah, my other thing is that we lost in our community all the infrastructure for parent training. Parent training. So COVID didn't help parents become parents. It isolated them with their kids. They didn't know how to deal with it. They were frustrated. We used to have facilities in this community that worked with training parents. We don't have them anymore. As I mentioned, they left us. Bologna Ranch, the other site place that we had. Kairos. All of those helped parents and gave them skills in order to be better parents. And all of that infrastructure is now gone. So I think we have a bigger community problem than just, the schools are seeing what the community problem is. But we used to have a whole lot of parent groups that were out there doing stuff with kids. Early childhood education. There were a whole bunch of early childhood groups that were out there doing things. I know my wife and a lot of their friends did that for a long time. Most of those are gone now. So where do parents find places to help them be better parents? It's a frustration to me. And I think that's nationwide. I don't think it's just here, but I just think we've got to figure that out. That's why, Carly, I was really happy to hear you only talk about the community as opposed to just your school. Because that's who needs to be helped. They don't have the skills they have to be parents. And society has told them they can't beat their kids, which we've always said you shouldn't beat your kids. But they didn't give them the skills on how to deal with their kids when they're really young. And so we have too many parents that want to be friends from the time they're 2 years old as opposed to being parents. And they don't know what it means. And it's just a frustrating thing for me to have watched over the years that I've been here. And somehow we've got to figure out how to get some of that back. And I don't know what it is. I will bring it up with Waterfall Clinic, because I think we've been having trouble finding the people, like you were saying. We have 50% turnover a year in medical stuff with all the clinics. So keeping people here is really, really hard, and finding therapists is almost impossible. So
Absolutely.
all of that stuff contributes to what's going on.
Well, we're not gonna solve it tonight, but it's definitely on our radar, and we're gonna follow up on this for sure.
There's a lot of time being spent on it.
Yes, good. I love it. Eli?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We've got, looks like a raffle a car that I'm gonna win.
Yeah, well, so I just wanted to, this is just for more information for you guys. I don't know, a couple years ago, Coos Bay Toyota was bought out by an automotive group, based out of, Idaho. And one of their they're big with the community, big with schools, and supporting schools. This last fall, they partnered with, KMTR to do, they basically donate money based on the number of touchdowns and field goals we made, and made roughly about $2,500, I think it was, at the end of the season. That was just a check with our athletic program. Anthony Hernandez, who's the GM, approached both North Bend administration and Marshall administration with an idea of raffling off a car. And so what it's gonna be is they're donating a car, and basically to, the schools. And then we are going to have all of our programs, not just athletic programs, any, clubs, speech and debate, cheer, everybody's gonna get X amount of raffle tickets to sell. And it's 100% profit for them, for their clubs. And the reason why I want to talk to you about this is because they did this at a community in Idaho last year. That community raised over $160,000 off this one raffle. And this car is going to be completely 100% free. They're going to eat the taxes. They're going to eat all the fees and everything. So the winner they need to walk away with a free car. So typically that's what people don't know is a lot of times when you get a free car, there's still taxes. They're going to go along with it. No, the Coos Bay Toyota they're going to eat all the costs. So it is literally 100%. So.
Can Carly get some tickets for a plane ride?
I know. Yeah. Well, and that's what it is. It isn't just for the high school. I mean, and it's for the whole community. So, it's not like if Madison PTO wants to sell raffle tickets, they can sell raffle tickets. Anthony's even put himself out there to potentially offer some money for the groups who sell the most raffle tickets. So kind of a little bit of competition. So again, just more giving back. And the reason why I want to talk to you too is because this is huge for us. Outside of transportation and coaches' salaries, our athletic and activity programs are 100% revenue based. So we rely on all these revenues and donations for uniforms, for athletic supplies, for upgrades to a lot of our facilities. I don't know if you noticed during the 3A tournament, we got a nice new scores table and some really cool chairs. Those were both thank you to Fastmark. We gave us a nice donation of $5,000, and Grand Mall Boat Group gave us a $10,000 donation. So without those, now we have a really nice setup for not only the 3A tournament, for our basketball season, volleyball season. So we're really excited. We got them just in time to store them and put them away in about 6 months. So, but like I said, we're really excited. And again, this is a great partnership, but I just thought it was something that, you all should know about. If you happen to meet Anthony or see him around town, thank him. Like I said, he's done a great job of being, partnering with not only us, North Bend. It's not just a Marshall thing. He's trying to be very active at all of our schools and provide all of our programs with some real life revenue. So we're very thankful.
Is it gonna be a new car or a used car?
Brand new.
Oh, brand new.
Brand new car. Yeah, so Greg and I are gonna go meet with them on Wednesday to kind of fine tune out all the details. But the goal is that we are going to start the raffle here soon. And the giveaway will actually be the Civil War game at Marshfield. Next year, I believe it's on November the 1st. It is the last football game of the year. So hopefully that in itself will bring a nice crowd to the game. Again, some more revenue. Ticket sales, so again, we're excited.
And then he's giving us another new car right the next day.
Yep.
What?
Just started again.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
have they decided what the price per ticket is going to be?
$10 a ticket, but the nice thing is 100%.
Right.
I've never done a fundraiser in my whole career where you get 100%. Yeah, what you do, so it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I said, so like each program will get their tickets, and so they just turn around, and so like for us, we have different club accounts for all of our programs. When they turn in their profits, that goes right into their club account, so it's 100% going to them.
I just want to make a comment about this. I think it's really important, and I asked this question to him the other day. This is not Toyota giving this car to us. This is our Toyota dealership giving this car to us. And I think that's big.
Yeah.
I think that's really big, and so I just thank him. I think that's pretty awesome.
So they're giving 4 cars away?
No.
Well,
just
no,
one,
to North Bend.
No, it's gonna be a combined effort.
Oh.
Combined effort.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just cool, but like, yeah, they're gonna, and then flip around, do it all over again.
And you just, whatever we sell, we get.
Yeah.
Whatever they sell, they get.
So yeah, so I mean, there'll be a little bit of competing, you know, I mean, obviously the groups that get out there and start selling it the most, you know, quickly, they'll get the parents and family, you know, community members quicker than others, so. It's definitely gonna be who's the most motivated to get after it, so.
We don't know what kind of car it is?
Yes, it's a Toyota, what's the smallest one?
Corolla.
Yeah, it's a Corolla.
It's, worth more than $10.
You drive for 300,000 a month.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eli, that was fantastic, it's nice to hear some good news.
Can I share something real quick?
Yes.
I'm really sorry. It would not be in my nature to stay quiet when comments about families are made, given that's my role. Just in case any parents are listening, to our board meeting, we absolutely do have programs for families out there in our community. ESD does positive pathways to parenting. South Coast Together has resources and tools. There are things out there. And parents don't need classes to be better parents. What they need is tools to improve their skills. Every single parent is a great parent, but maybe they just need to build their toolbox and get skills that maybe put it in our viewpoint of what's a great parent. I am a parent and I am struggling so hard with my own children, but between my job and making sure I take care of other children, and then also seeking out other forms of income, I do not have time to attend parenting classes. Our families out there are trying to survive, and I think it's very important for anybody listening to this board meeting to know there are resources and there are people out there that can help build your toolbox, and you are a great parent no matter what your skills look like right now.
Bree.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bree. You get me every time, every time. I love that you are such a heartfelt advocate for our families. And I was thinking that too. We have PITC through Peace Health and Wellness, and there's other parenting groups out there, but it is hard. And thank you for sharing your own vulnerability with us. I too struggle as a parent, and it's tough. It's a tough job. And, we think about people who are less fortunate than us who, are struggling to even keep a roof over their heads or, food in their children's bellies. So it's tough. So thank you for acknowledging that. All right. We've got a car raffle. Now we've got the fun stuff.
Thank you.
Data and finances. Yay.
Yes. So, enrollment, we are down another 15. We are steadily declining. However, good news is that Madison, Sunset, Millicoma, the junior high, they have all seen increases of 1 or 2, and actually our biggest decrease was 25 at the high school this month. And I think that is due to there's a higher number of inactive students. And so potentially it's just when that 10-day drop falls and when Synergy updates. And so I'm hopeful that with next month I'll have better updates. However, we did do a data analysis projecting enrollment for the next 10 years with our long-range facilities plan. And they are predicting that for the next 10 years, we will continue to decline slowly in enrollment. So this is just the reality of we don't have multi-unit programs. The housing has not really expanded. We just are declining in younger students, or they're choosing to go to other schools in our area, whether that be private or homeschooled. We did not see a huge return after COVID, and we're just continuing to reap that. We're down almost 200 from March of 19. So there just is lingering effects that we are hoping to turn around in the future, but our data analysis does show that we will likely decline for the next 10 years.
So we need more staff to support our students, but we have less students, so we get less money.
Correct.
So fun times.
All we have to do is get better and do so with less.
And have a fairy godmother.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I'm here to tell you, I took over a school in 2011, when that was exactly what the prognosis was. And it can be done, and you've got the core here to do it. So it can happen.
And similar to these behavioral issues, we are not a standalone school district. Many other districts since COVID are having significant decreases. During COVID days, ODE said something about 7,000 students that just disappeared from EDM over those 2 years. They were having to physically go track down those students because they didn't know where they were coming from. Many homeschool because of safety, many homeschool because of choices within school districts, and we just have not seen these numbers come back. We are hopeful, but with that, it does mean that each student in the state school fund pie is worth a little bit more. So we're gonna hope that it all evens out in the end. We are budgeting at a lower number for next year, assuming that there will continue to be decreases. Finances, general fund is looking wonderful. I spent a significant amount of time we pay for a software called Forecast 5. It projects our data based on historical trends that we've had over the last, I think we've been in the system for about 5 years, and it projects future spending, future revenue for the year, and can kind of map out what the rest of the fiscal year will look like. We are projected to have a much higher ending fund balance than was anticipated. We are on track to not overspend any of our appropriations, even with the increased state school fund pass through to Lighthouse and Resource Link. So we are choosing at this time to not do a supplemental budget, to stay within our current allocations and end with a higher ending fund balance than budgeted, which was supposed to be about 1.4 million. We're gonna make sure we have a much higher ending fund balance than that, so we can move forward next year.
Unless I can hire some good people now.
Sure. Yeah, we have the appropriation, and that's it now.
Yeah,
Yes, and we've had many positions posted out of SIA for student behavior that have been posted since, I believe, December, when we've had a challenge filling.
Yeah.
So we do have a number of positions open, and we are looking to fill those.
Sometimes you have to go get those people. You can't just wait for them to apply. You have to call them and show up at their door with an application and say, we need you, come on over.
You can do that.
You have to go to the other high schools and do that.
They love that.
Yeah, they do.
I have done that.
Yeah.
So the general fund is looking great. We're not supposed to be over appropriated based on our projections. Special revenues. Yeah.
If we were fully staffed,
Mhm.
if all our positions were full,
Mhm.
how would that change? So that would put us back to where our fund balance would be?
Not to that significant of an amount, because a lot of the positions that we're discussing were out of SIA, the Student Behavior Resources. We've tried to put a lot of those positions in grants, because those grants have been so significantly increased in the last few years right?
Well, no, absolutely correct. And I'm just gonna put a caveat on that, is that we do need to hire more support in these buildings in the form of highly trained EAs. And that's,
They're gonna cost more.
and it's gonna come out of general fund, because there's no special pot of money for it, right? So that could have an impact. And it needs to have an impact. You know, we need the people.
I would agree. We are projecting that with all of the open positions, this is still our anticipated expenditures. We did include those positions.
With all
within
those
the budget.
positions filled, is what you're saying?
Correct,
Yes.
yeah, if there are additional positions, that will impact the projections, but I anticipated with everyone being filled for the rest of the year,
Perfect.
what are we looking at realistically?
Thank you.
If we can get all positions filled, because that would be a dream.
Yes.
I have a couple, if anyone's interested in business office either. Anyone wants to do payroll. So special revenue funds also is looking great. This is where all of our grants are. You'll see that it's projecting our revenues to be unfavorable. That's because ODE has been very, very slow to release grant funds. So by this part of the year, we would have claimed down a lot more expenses. But because ODE hasn't put a lot of them into the system yet, we have not been able to claim that down. As those come available, we're claiming them down. So our projections have been a little challenged at this
So we're just waiting for ODE ODE system to open up so we can do drawdowns?
Yes, but it's the first year of a biennium, so a lot of new grants are being released and, Department of Justice is just funding them a lot longer this year. We just got SIA maybe a week and a half ago, which is a huge chunk of our special revenue funds. Does anyone have any questions on special revenues? On to debt service, this looks great. We are awaiting significant increases in property taxes the rest of the year. We get a huge influx in March. So a lot of that will go to the debt service to have enough money to pay down the June debt service payments. And then capital projects, again, we're nearing the end of Millicoma and bond funds. We are so close. Right now they're working on HVAC, and so a lot of our expenses to date and moving forward will be ESSER funds to spend those down before September. Right now, I believe we're finishing up the classroom additions and any other non-HVAC related work. And so all of the remaining expenses will be ESSER. So we will not continue to spend that here. We will not go over allocation.
Good.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that.
That negative 2.5 million unfavorable. It's a little scary, but we won't be spending over it. It's just, projections are beautiful and helpful, and then sometimes they're not. Yes. Does anyone have any questions on the finances? Thank you. The last piece I have for you is the food service management company. We went out for bid in February. We received back one proposal. We did have 3 companies come down to do the mandatory site visit. They chose not to do proposals as they were not local. It would have been significant infrastructure work, but Sodexo did submit a bid, and so we are looking to renew a 5-year contract with them. Adrian, Kevin, and myself did meet and score that, spoke with ODE, and they do approve of their bid. And so if you guys so choose, we will prepare a draft contract, send that to ODE for approval, and then it will come back to you guys in the April board meeting.
So we have this as an action item tonight. And so we either choose Sodexo or Arnie's gonna be cooking for the
Yeah.
schools.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna really hope you choose Sodexo.
Okay, so we have, hopefully a move it from someone
So what are we moving to?
to accept
Two.
the.
To enter into a contract with
There's no
Sodexo
contract,
to
right?
provide paid
Yes,
services.
to accept their bid and the contract for Sodexo.
So, all right, so I move that we go ahead and accept the proposal from Sodexo, and go ahead and approve to move forward with developing a contract with ODE approval.
Perfect, thank you. What?
Oh, I'll second it. I guess,
How many meals is that a day?
Not bad.
You'll be all right.
I'll help you.
All right, do we have any other discussion or comments about this?
I was wish there had been other people
Yeah.
Yeah.
or other corporations that had asked. It's frustrating.
And then what's the bid increase? How much are they want to charge?
Yeah.
It was a 10% increase over this year. However, it is still projected to be a net benefit to us. There will still be a net profit based on the claims that we do through food service. It will still be a net profit of about $66,000.
Okay.
So they're operating within the federal grant.
Correct, yeah.
It's hard to beat.
And that,
We make
and that includes the cooks as well as the food, the
It
salaries.
includes all of their staff salaries and, yes, so they handle all of that, as well as all of the reporting, all of the USDA groups that have increased significantly.
So the 10,000 or the 10% increase, is that pretty typical year to year?
Not year to year, typically it's been about a 3% increase, and that is what they're projecting for future years. But because of they renegotiated their staff increases last year, and they got significant increases. And so we are seeing some of that come through in our new agreement.
Yes, I was expecting that.
Yes.
And honestly, cook is a tough job. He loves to cook, I don't. So they need more money, so absolutely. And so any other discussion? Kevin, did you get your,
Well, that was my question, on
Okay.
increase in cost.
all right. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Let's go for a vote. Addie?
Aye.
Barney?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Diane? Aye. David?
Aye.
Kevin?
Nay.
All right, motion carries. Thank you so much. Is that something I need to sign tonight, or is that after you develop that contract?
After I develop it.
Okay.
It has to go to ODE for approval. It's a very, hoop process.
Alright, so moving on to page 2 of our agenda.
What does ODE want to look at it?
ODE works directly with USDA to make sure that we're meeting all of their
Oh.
requirements. And so ODE, they manage all of the food service management renewals directly with all of the schools. So they require us to do it every 5 years.
So would they possibly say 10% is too much of an increase to
No,
select?
they've already
Oh.
received the bid. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, contract renewals. Michelle?
Well, in your packet, you have the list of staff members who are facing a contract renewal. It's an ORS that we have to notify staff by March 15th. Any non-renewal of contract for licensed people who are contract teachers, we offer 2-year contracts, and so we renew the second year of their 2-year contract, end of the first year of their second year of their contract. Probationary teachers are renewed annually for the first 3 years of their employment. And so we also have listed on your sheet some retirements and resignations, but notice is required by March 15th, or board action by March 15th. And so we are not non-renewing any probationary teacher that was not hired on a temporary contract. So, because we do have some people who were hired on temporary contract, meaning that they were hired after the contract year began. So they were, were pending, some of those positions were, class size or exiting employees or things like that. So they're eligible for reemployment. We just need to post their positions. So, and the administrators are on a cycle of renewal as well. So those are listed out as to far when they need to have action taken. But, and we have a fairly large graduating class of probationary employees that are going to become contract teachers as of the morning of March 16th. So that's really exciting that we've had people stay with us for 3 years. And that level of retention is really great. So, any questions?
So we need a motion to rehire the list as presented, correct?
They have to apply, right?
Actually, no act, unless action is actively taken to non-renew, contracts are kind of.
Automatically.
It is kind of, yeah. Silence is.
So we take the default.
Yeah.
Literally.
I was took the affirmative, but that, either one works.
Right, but we just have to do this annually by March 15th.
Okay, so no action, or if we want an action. So,
No action is action.
yes, but somebody could. I mean,
You're all looking at me.
I know, I'm so sorry, Kevin, I'm like,
No, we really do attempt to, if there is non-renewal in someone's future, attempt to mitigate that through, programs of assistance and improvement or, other actions. So we take this concept very seriously, that we want to make sure that people are successful.
all right, we'll give it a second. Do we have any board members want to make a motion? Okay.
All good.
All right, good. All right, up next, employee calendar.
Calendar, again, part of board policy and especially the license bargaining agreement is that we have a calendar committee, and that the calendar committee submits to the superintendent a recommendation for the calendar. This year, we were able to accomplish devising this calendar in 2 meetings, which was great. And as you notice, just the way the holidays fall for next school year, it is much kinder to us, and also no leap year And so, we will not have this contentious holiday break, that we had at North End last year. And so there were lots of feedback and lots of opportunities, to, you know, provide ideas and things. And so we've come up with a calendar that, does provide for an extended fall break. People thought that that was really, needed, and your traditional, holiday break. And then for a tournament, or 3A tournament rather, we know when that's happening next year. So, this is a pretty standard calendar for next year. We have attempted also, at developing a calendar for the 25-26 school year. So we have a draft of that going as well. That was part of bargaining last time with the licensed group. But, this is a very popular committee always, and we have lots of people at the table. And, I think this is a pretty good calendar that honors a lot of different needs.
Any questions for Michelle?
I'll go ahead and move that we approve the 2024-2025 license calendar.
I'll second it.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Arnie. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to vote. Kevin?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Diane? Aye. I vote aye as well.
Aye.
Thank you, Arnie.
Aye.
Thank you, Addie. All right, motion carries. We've got a licensed calendar.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Yeah. And this I've never been here when we've not had to vote on this again, so is there a chance?
Well, I'm hoping not.
I tell you, we love to run calendars. I know.
I'm just saying.
They 90 hours.
Take into account start and stop times and also parent conference dates. So, I mean, I think instructionally meeting the obligations of the collective bargaining agreement, this one hits the mark. I know, but it is a good question. It is a good question.
It's true though, David, yeah. Okay, Brian, you're up. Conditional renewal of teacher.
Yeah, I do need to vote on this one. This teacher was hired on an emergency license, and she's doing all the things that she needs to do, but will not be finished with having her probationary license and her endorsement before March 15th. So it was a situation where I couldn't lump her in with everybody else. And in fact, probably the swiftest thing to do is just actually have, non-renewed her. But since she's done all the work and has all the stuff lined up, I said that I would ask the board that for a conditional renewal, that she has to deliver to us her license and her endorsements by July 1st. Okay, and give her a chance to wrap that up. It's a sped endorsement. It's not like, they're in abundance. So if we keep her on the hook, that's a good thing. But if she does not produce that by July 1st, she just doesn't have a contract.
So there's no financial impact
No,
of this at
no,
all?
but what it does, by the board taking the action now, we don't have to go through like a dismissal process or anything like that, because we're conditionally approving it. You either provide us this documentation by July 1st, or there is no contract. So I thought I would come to you and ask you to do that.
I'll go ahead and move to renew the employment contract with Jennifer Ellis, condition upon all necessary certifications and endorsements from the relevant certifying authorities requiring for her teaching position by June 30th, 2024.
I second it.
That was really good. All right, thank you so much, David. Thank you, Addie. Is there any questions or discussions?
Only I think you said July 1, and he said the 30th.
The 30th works for me since I wrote the resolution. Probably should stick to the 30th.
Yeah. I have one question. I just want to make sure we're happy with her work and folks as supervisor feel like this is a good action.
It's, for a probationary teacher to continue as a probationary teacher, yes.
All right. Hearing no other discussion or questions, let's go for a vote. Addie?
Aye.
Barney?
Aye.
I vote aye. Ryan? Aye. David?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Okay. All right, yay, we've got a leeway for this teacher, so yay, get it done. Get it done. Okay, you're up again, superintendent's update.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do this quickly. I guess I'll just leave a lot of stuff out to me. We had the listening session that was talked about on Thursday. And it's been both Sunset and Madison have been a major part of our conversation for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I know it's not enough, but we did immediately, 3 weeks ago, moved one of our vice principals from the east side to full-time at Sunset to try to put a Band-Aid on the situation. We've also got a substitute teacher who has some pretty good relationships with the kids that we've brought in virtually every day to start out with. And we have posted for EA positions, and we will hire those as quality people become available, and then we can get them trained up to actually help. Okay. That's what we're doing in the shortest run, you know. Longer run stuff that we're looking at, we're definitely looking at an SLC restructure. And coming up, not only restructure of like how many and where, but also restructuring what's going on in that room, what are we doing? Do we have, you know, there's a lot of IEPs that need to be revisited, so we can talk about step up and step down plans and produce some flexibility into those things. And that's a ton of work, and trying to figure out how to relieve the pressure valve now, but also stay compliant, you know, with those IEPs. And that's gonna be tricky, quite frankly. We have from, help me, is it Coos Health? Coos Health and Wellness. We've requested another therapist from them that we would put absence next year full-time if they can hire them. I'm meeting with Waterfall, I think, this week or next. When are we meeting with Waterfall? Soon. Next week. You know, to also talk about the possibility of a therapist and see what his looks like. We've also talked about, especially for the littles, and I think it could be helpful at Sunset if we can get some EAs trained up as RBTs or, you know, registered behavioral technicians. Both Waterfall and the ESD have BCBAs, which work kind of hand in hand. There's possibly some billable time there if we actually can provide therapy for some of these kids. When I met with Waterfall, you know, last month, one of the things that he said, yeah, because he's got the only autism therapy program really in Southern Oregon, not just and they're doing a great job, but he's got over 100 kids on the wait list. He tells me most of those age out. Well, okay, what does that mean? It means that they're showing up over at Madison, you know, without any treatment and without, you know, the communication that they need to function. So I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that we can pay our people to get trained up and then partner with the BCBAs that already exist? Because we're not gonna go out and hire one, you know. But if we can team up with those folks, that would be great. Lisa put in a grant yesterday, I think, that if it flies, we'll provide a therapist at the K-1-2 level, and also 2.5 skills trainers that we can put in K-6 to help out. Okay, so we're working on stuff hard. Chad's been working with our behavioral specialist at the district office to put together 4 or 5 days worth of training for all of our classified staff, K-6, including secretaries and head custodians and cooks and, and transportation people if we can get them to come. But our people will come. Staffing, I've already said it tonight, staffing levels, if you're going to take kids that are highly impacted by behavioral issues, and if you're going to have inclusion, you have to have adequate support. We simply don't have enough EAs in the buildings to do the RTI work and to do inclusion. And I know there's been a long-standing tradition at Coos Bay not to spend general fund dollars for EAs, but that's going to have to change. It's just going to have to be a priority, because we need well-trained bodies in the schools to help support our kids. And it's frustrating that we can't do that yesterday. But this issue was a long time in the making. It's not going to disappear overnight. But I think, the listening session that night was really good. There was plenty of emotion in the room, I'm an emotional guy. I had plenty too. It wasn't, but I think that some good things were brought up. And some good things. And I think that we also need, in a more general sense with all the staffs, we probably need to work on some of the cultural pieces, just developing the atmosphere within the area. My girlfriend's an RBT and she works with kids, and she says sometimes if I'm having a real bad day, the kids can smell it. If I get my butt kicked in the morning, there's a good chance it's going to happen all day long. And I think that we need to figure out as a staff how to support each other through that stuff, and how to try to figure out how to support our staff well enough that they can maintain the positiveness that is necessary to deal with kids that are really hard, right? I was talking with some teachers after our listening session was supposed to be, like 3 to 4, and I left there 6:15, and talking to some of the teachers, I said, it's really unfair. It's because teaching is the only job in the world where you just can't afford a bad day, and that's not a fair expectation, right? So we also have to love and care for our teachers enough that if you need a mental health day, right, it's okay. You need to go do that and then come back tomorrow when you're equipped. And so, so we need to have some conversations about that. How do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of each other? How do we remind each other that, we need to take a break when we need to take a break? I know it's really hard for a lot of folks who were raised to suit up and show up no matter what. There's some days where the good choice is not to, that you need to take a break, because the days you're just not equipped. I know there's some. I wasn't going to include this, but the ESD soup meeting this next week that's coming up, I think the ESD is looking at another SEL program called Wayfair. And if the ESD buys onto that, it will be available for us for free. So I know at the younger grades, some of the current curriculum has been found kind of cumbersome. So there may be an option for those who choose it. The cool thing about it is it's really easy to drop in and drop out of it. And there's a lot of things that are very based on real life scenarios. In fact, there were things, as a high school business teacher, there was a whole bunch of things, activities that I could use in my classroom as actual academic activities that also had an SEL component to it. So there's a lot of free lessons for teachers. So if the ESD goes forward with that, Carly, make sure you get a sign on to play with. In fact, Chad might already have one if you want to play with it now.
Sounds good.
Talked about that. Okay, so that's probably what I've got to say right now on the behavioral stuff and the things that we're working on. I'm also real excited that our principals have taken the initiative, and we're going to 3 job fairs this year with our own booths, our own flyers, and we're gonna go sell Coos Bay. You know, and so if you want good people, you go get them. You know, somebody said that, and I don't really think we can knock on the doors, but let's get out there and tell our story. You know, because there's a lot of good stuff in the Coos Bay School District. A lot of the stuff I heard before I got here was simply not true. There is a good core here, and moving this place from good to great is a possibility. It is a strong possibility you've already got the team. It's just a matter of getting all the team going in the right direction and together. You know? So excited about that. And what else? I'm gonna talk a little bit about the business office because Arlena has been working her full head off, taking what was there for this year's budget, and it wasn't in our accounting system, and basically getting it all entered over the last 2.5 weeks. So by the middle of next week, she'll have a provisional database for me so we could start looking at budget for next year, but looking at budget detail from the very start so we can be wise about how we're spending our money. And so she has just been killing herself to do that. And so I'm really proud of her, and also putting in the internal controls necessary to make that office run real smoothly. And there's always work to do, and we'll continue to do that, but I think it's going to be set up for some great success going forward. And I think that the board will have better tools to look at going forward than what we have right now. So, anything else? That's what's going on in my world, I guess, right now. I'll share.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Brian. And now we have Kevin, Facilities Committee update.
Yeah, I'll keep it really quick. We had a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, but we're gonna cancel that. We're gonna push it out to April. So once we get that date locked in, then Dave can get on it.
Can I ask a question really quick? I'm listening from somewhere I missed. What's going on with the softball?
That's the next.
Yeah,
That's the next thing.
No, not the name. Are we doing all the upgrades that came in? Has that already started happening?
Yeah, it's in the process. Yeah, it's a long process, but it's coming along.
Like they broke ground or?
On some of it, yeah. Yep. Some of the bids came back a little high, and so they fine tuned it and got new bids, and yeah, there's some good team working on it, definitely.
It came in over what was budgeted this year, so the team all came together and decided to do $250,000, which is what was budgeted. Created a plan with the contractor. We're gonna do that work before June 30th, and then build the remainder in next year's budget. So to get it all completed by fall, but to do it in budget allocation. So.
And it'll all meet the Title IX requirements.
Yeah, rather than, we were discussing potentially not doing anything and waiting and doing it all after July 1, we decided to do what was possible now, so that we knew we would be done before next year.
But we have no meeting tomorrow?
We do not, and I can already tell you when it will be. It will be the day after the April board meeting.
Okay.
Just like
So,
normal.
yeah,
We're just passing
this one because Adrian is gone, Brian Bergstead is gone, and there's nothing added to our agenda list. So, I mean, as much as I'd like to see you guys, I haven't seen you all tonight, so let's skip tomorrow's meeting.
do not show up at 9 a.m.
That's
tomorrow.
awesome, thank you.
You're welcome, I knew you'd like that.
Okay, so we're moving on to remaining of the softball bill at the ESD. And we have a proclamation.
Not the ESD, it's ours.
At ESD, right?
It's
Okay, yes.
Well, it's gonna have a name now, so we can get quick call on the ESD field.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, because that is confusing for folks. Okay, where's this resolution at? Somewhere in here.
It should be page 27.
Page 27.
Middle of the packet.
29. All right, okay. Yay. And we don't have Bill here, but we heard at, I think it's at our last meeting, or the meeting before last, some wonderful things about him. And so this is well deserved.
From our students as well.
Yes, our
Yeah.
students.
The student that was sitting right here before the
Yes.
meeting tonight was total fangirl. She's like,
Oh, yeah,
we have to text her tonight whether this passes.
yes, oh, good.
I was just gonna say, the same sentiments at the last meeting were reflected by every single person
I know.
that's commented on this, so
This
I
is-
haven't heard one thing to the contrary.
He does know, yeah. He was invited and we were gonna have cake, and I said we should have cake anyway.
And we don't.
There's the cake.
David totally like put a kibosh on that.
Yeah. I know this has been a long meeting, but that's why I came here tonight, so I.
Was for the cake?
But I just want to, just briefly say, and I don't know if it was brought up, you know, I was gonna write some things down, and, I thought, no, I just gotta come and talk from the heart. This guy has been amazing. Volunteer softball coach since 1986.
I was on that team.
Were you?
Does everyone know who we're talking about?
Bill, how many don't know Bill Otto? Well, he's a gentleman that has just been a pillar in this school district, this community. He's the most humble person maybe that I know. He doesn't want any recognition. He would not like coming here tonight. Why I'm emotional is because he's not doing well right now. And that was one of the reasons why he couldn't be here. But his name on the field during my time is gonna be one of the greatest things I've seen. So I hope that happens. It sounds like it's going to,
Yes.
and I hope it does. And I wanna say one more thing. I came here in 1986 and this was my first classroom. Right here. Teaching 5th grade. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm listening, it hurts me when this little girl I hear.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is, as a 5th grade teacher, and I know this is 36 years ago, but we have some of the best medicine in this school district to help with this issue, in my opinion. And they're all up at the high school. When I was a 5th grade teacher in this classroom, I remember having a group of people right there reading, the group over here doing math, the group over here doing social studies, all with high school kids. High school kids sitting there. Because what is one of the most exciting things when we go and we walk around? What happens in the elementary schools when the high school kids watching? The energy is unbelievable. So I know that the principal sitting here and the former principal would agree what a great program we could develop and have kids bus from the high school to these schools to help these kids.
Amen.
Having also worked with bull bottoms.
Yeah.
His wife was a outside employee here for a long time as well, Croquia. And so it's been a pretty impressive family with respect to helping kids in our community for a long time. But Bill is a special person, has always been a special person. And he's the gentlest, kindest human being you'll ever meet. So,
I just want to give him a hug right now.
I have to tell a funny story. So 2 years ago, I know it's late, but this is a funny one. 2 years ago, he's undefeated. And he's had a couple undefeated, but being undefeated as a coach, that's a pretty good thing. And we were shy 1 game for the maximum. So I said, okay, I'll get you a game. Well, I get in the game that's really tough. And he calls me up and says, man, I'm not feeling very good. I just don't know if I can make it to that game, you know? And, well, he wanted to go undefeated. I said, okay, Bill, only for you.
I love it. Sounds like a wonderful man. And tonight we have an action item for renaming the softball field at the ESD, not the ESD softball field, in honor of him. So do we have a motion?
I will move that we rename the field that is currently at the ESD with Bill Otten's Field.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, any other discussion? Patty?
Aye.
Arnie?
Aye.
Aye. And Diane? Aye. David?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Okay, so therefore it is, and that's very exciting. And now I have this wonderful whereas resolution to read. So resolution number 2024-02, renaming the softball field to Bill Otten Field officially. Whereas the Marshfield softball team has a rich history of success and development since its inception in 1986. And whereas Mr. Bill Otten has played an integral role in the growth and achievements of the Marshfield softball program as a dedicated volunteer for 37 years. And whereas Bill Otten's unwavering commitment to the student athletes and the softball program at Marshfield High School has left a profound and lasting impact on countless individuals within the community. And whereas Bill Otten's coaching tenure has been characterized by his selfless dedication, expertise, and passion for the sport of softball, serving as a mentor and positive influence on the character development of players. And whereas Bill Otten's contributions extend beyond the athletic realm, as he has instilled values of sportsmanship, teamwork, and perseverance in student athletes, fostering an environment conducive to both personal and athletic growth. And whereas in recognition of Bill Otten's enduring commitment to Marshfield High School and the softball program, the coaching staff, players, former players, and supporters of the softball team have requested the renaming of the softball field at ESD to Bill Otten Field. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Coos Bay School District 9 Board of Directors approves the renaming of the softball field at ESD to Bill Otten Field in honor of Mr. Bill Otten's exemplary service, leadership, and dedication to Marshfield softball program. And be it further resolved that this renaming shall serve as a lasting tribute to Bill Otten's legacy and as an inspiration to current and future generations of softball players at Marshfield High School. Let this resolution be effective immediately upon approval by the Coos Bay School District 9 Board of Directors, adopted this 11th day of March 2024. That date was right. This is very exciting. Yay!
Get on the sign right now.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Well, you know how we met, right?
Yeah.
Bill Otten's brother is a really famous coach in Washington.
Oh, really?
Tumwater, Washington, he was their football coach.
Really?
His son, Bill's, was the University of Washington tight end, and now plays for the
Miami Dolphins.
Is he the Dolphins now? He used to be for where did Brady's?
New England?
No, Tom Brady is
Tampa Bay.
Plays for Tampa Bay, and so you hear an Otten name on Tampa Bay. He is their tight end. He took over from Cron.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. It's a neat family. It's a good group of people.
Yes.
Wow,
this is great. I love that. Okay, following that, we have the select screening committee.
No,
Oh, no. Oh, our classified, yes, we can't forget that proclamation classified appreciation week. We talked about this earlier, and that one is, I think, on the back of this one, page 28. All right, another whereas. And very important, proclamation on continued classified employee appreciation. Whereas the education of youth remains fundamental to the advancement of our community, state, country, and global society. And whereas classified employees serving as the cornerstone of our public education system play an indispensable role in fostering the learning environment. And whereas classified employees actively engage with students, educators, parents, volunteers, business partners, and members of the community, contributing significantly to the holistic development of students, and whereas the multifaceted contributions of classified employees spanning from administrative support to maintenance and transportation services are instrumental in ensuring the efficient functioning of educational institutions, and whereas the community's reliance on and confidence in the dedicated service of classified employees to the student body is unwavering, and whereas classified employees, through their varied skills and unwavering commitment, consistently nurture and support students throughout their educational journey. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Coos Bay School District 9 Board of Directors reaffirms its commitment to honoring the invaluable contributions of classified employees beyond Classified Appreciation Week, and be it further proclaimed that the Coos Bay District 9 Board of Directors extends its call to action to all members of the community, urging sustained recognition and appreciation for the tireless dedication and hard work demonstrated by these indispensable individuals. Let this proclamation serve as an ongoing testament to the enduring gratitude and respect owed to classified employees for their indispensable contributions to the education and well-being of our students and community. Adopted today, March 11th, 2024. Yay, classified. Okay, is there another one of these?
no.
I was like, I need to drink between these. Okay, and now, oh my gosh, I gotta get back to that page. Now, our select screening committee action item.
You had 16 applications for the screening committee. Do you want me to read the names out for you? How do you want to do that?
Did we didn't do that before, did we just, everybody came with one name or something, and then or should we just vote in who we want? How does that work?
Well, maybe, we got 16 folks that have applied.
Right.
I did just look, from what I looked at, we had one person representing classified.
No, we had two, right?
Two? So,
Yeah, we had a couple.
And Bree and Roma.
What about
oh, that's the one didn't say who it was, is that the other one?
And Allison too.
Oh, is that who that is? Who is that person? The one that says didn't identify themselves.
I went by what they checked, not by other personal knowledge, just by what they checked.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
of them had no check on it, so that's.
Exactly.
So then I chose 2 classified, 3 administration, if we count Brian as administrative.
We can, he's a citizen.
No,
Oh,
Brian.
that's Brian, that's right.
Yeah, we
I
got
was
a
thinking the other
couple,
Brian.
we've had a couple Brian's,
That's
yeah.
true, we did have. a
He's
couple.
former administration.
We had 5 from the school, from license, 2 elementary, 3 high school.
Yep.
We had 5 within the community.
Yep.
And 1 parent. So, you know, just to kind of say the breakdown of what it is, I mean, is that a good representation of this sort of what we should have or not, I don't know.
Plus the board.
Plus the board.
So we need 8 to 12, and we've got 16.
Right.
So, in order to do this, we want, last time I thought we had each person
Pick one or two.
pick 1 or 2, and then we voted on them.
I know.
How would you guys like to proceed?
I think too, but I mean, I like a lot of the candidates, but
Yeah.
I like almost all. I just hear, yeah, I just.
But if we're going to narrow it down to what we need.
I think we should look at how many from each of the
That
groups
was
that
my-
we
that-
have, and,
That was my thought is, like,
I mean, if we're heavy in some areas, then,
that had been my thought, is that we were trying to look at some equitable distribution amongst the people, the
Yeah.
primary stakeholders. So to me, we have a certain amount within the schools already. We have some of the community members, most of them have some previous attachment as well to the schools. So, I don't know if that influences it or not.
Yeah.
I think that there's definitely, I mean, I would love to take everybody, but we obviously.
Well, we could, I mean, that would be another thing potentially, right? I mean,
Oh, well then,
that's
no
no
requirement on them.
I thought we did say that we did not want to have it that big, but, because we
I mean,
have.
the reality is, most of the work is gonna be done individually.
Yes.
Anyway.
Right?
Okay,
They only come together one time when we
all
have
right.
this conversation.
So are we hearing a different change, and is that, since,
that was my wonder is, 8 to 12, we've got 16, maybe one or two might not be able to end up participating. Are we really that far away from where we want to be? Does it make that much difference if we have 16 versus 12? I'm not sure it does.
Right, I'm not-
So I guess that was my thought, is maybe we just
go with it.
as is and work with it. I mean,
The screening committee is gonna remember too, I mean, the board's making the decisions.
Right.
Right, I mean, so it's where you gather your input.
right.
all right,
I would be good with all 16.
all right.
Who's herding them?
Who's what?
Who's going to herd 16?
That's what I was just
What,
gonna.
because it's not
Yeah.
16, it's 16 plus 7.
Yeah, we'll get it squared away.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Whatever you guys say is
He was
okay.
down there twisting his little
I
mustache.
got this figured out. I've got a dastardly plan.
I know.
Well,
Okay,
if they don't, if they don't come to some of the meetings, then they're gonna be caught, right?
Exactly,
So
and there's that
mandatory-
training.
There's a mandatory training.
Yeah.
Too, so.
The application actually says 8 to 15 individuals, so you're really not going to that.
Okay. There you go. Thank you, Marina.
And everybody had really good reasons on why they wanted to.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair distribution of
Yeah.
a variety of folks anyway.
All right, so then you just need a motion.
I move we accept the applicants the individuals who submitted applications for the superintendent search screening advisory committee.
Perfect.
I'll second.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Addie. Any discussion? Okay, Addie?
Aye.
Arnie?
Aye.
Aye. Diane? Aye. David?
Aye.
Kevin? All right, we've got our team. Yay. Congratulations, everybody, you'll be helping us pick a wonderful superintendent.
When will we be getting an update from him? I don't remember.
Vincent?
Well, the window hasn't closed yet, so I would expect closer towards the end of it, but I can reach out to Vince.
When did they have the window closing? I looked
I want to
online.
say it was April 15th.
It might have been,
But I
or
could
April
remember that.
2nd. It was April something, you're
Well,
right.
April 4th is when we have the training for
That's right.
this. And I believe it was after that training, so I think the 15th, but I could be off.
All right.
I know the 8th is in my head from the solar eclipse and already telling us about it. So.
I imagine, they'll have it run as long as possible, up until the point where the screening committee has gotten their instructions.
Yeah, and the bulk of your applications are gonna come in over spring break. Right?
Over
But-
spring break.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's when people have a chance to breathe for a second, right? I mean, if you called it a day.
And I will
Just be
notify
discouraging.
the screening committee tomorrow via email that they were,
Yeah. Tell them it was a really hard decision.
okay.
We fought over it, we fought.
Yeah, we fought for each one of them.
Yes.
You barely made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Close call, Allison. Welcome to the team. Okay, so, hope there are no board member highlights.
So I'll just say that thanks to, Kevin and I went to the rearranged, meeting on safety in the building. thank you for inviting, letting us know that might be a few other people. And it really did turn into a conversation like we had tonight about the safety of students and teachers and stuff at the schools. And I thought our maintenance person did a pretty good job of handling a situation he wasn't expecting. As he said, I was expecting custodians to come talk about ladders. And it was more of that. So, but from my perspective, it was a good meeting, and that's the kind of stuff that does need to be aired. And we have another meeting coming up next Tuesday, I think it is. I would anticipate that we'll be there and try to do some stuff to at least listen to all the different issues, and then also probably take care of some of the other issues that he was expecting to have taken care of.
The ladders.
So, the ladders, all the other kinds of things that his custodial staff generally brings to those meetings in the past. Interesting thing. So I look forward to that. The only other thing I would say is I got a call from Alan Ledesma, who came and did our presentation about the field over there. Interested in, if the district would be interested in doing a swap for Blossom Gulch when it's no longer needed, for another building that could house the administration and others, as opposed to that building being the administration building. And I don't know if we want to bring that up or have that conversation, but I know Eli went and looked at it with him or with them. And I know that conversation is going on, so I would just encourage us to keep thinking about that as a possibility, because I know that one of the conversations was that when Millicoma goes back to Millicoma, that building might become the administrative building. But maybe there's better buildings for that than.
What is the other building that they're proposing?
They aren't proposing anything. We're asking us to look and see if there's any building in the community that they would.
There's not a lot out there.
They're not a lot out there.
Yeah, I'm not interested at all.
Okay.
But we did learn about this today, and we definitely want to, it's on our April agenda.
Okay, that's good.
Because it was just brought to me today,
Right, that's what I
and so
figured.
I was like, this agenda's full.
Right.
So we do have, because
That's
I think
good.
it's,
That's where it needs to go.
important for the whole board to consider. So you're gonna hear more about this
Yep.
in April.
That's a good idea. That's the only things that.
Thank you, Bernie. Anyone else have something burning besides their soul that they want to?
No, I went to the site council meeting at the high school, and the main topic there was the enrollment decline that Marina was talking about. It is significant.
It is a lot.
Though Eli did mention that a number of those kids were dropped because of attendance, and so a number of them should be re-enrolling, which should make the numbers a little bit better.
And we didn't have an influx in our alt ed programs or anything like that. 200 students didn't just show up there.
No.
You have to have a school big enough to put them in. I'll say it, so she doesn't have to.
Okay, so, all right, that looks good then. Thank you so much. This meeting is adjourned.